Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. For me, it's evening. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Caroline. Thank you, Louise, for joining. Thank you both for joining. Thank you, everyone on Facebook. If you're joining, if you want to ask questions, please feel free to come on Zoom or just write me in private. Today, we're going to talk about the art of asking questions. Yeah, it's a difficult topic because it seems so easy. Everybody knows, like we all know that we should ask open questions, be open with your body, smile, try to use your hands so you seem like you're very open and welcoming. And yet it is so difficult to ask open questions. And what is even more difficult is to not expect a certain answer. Often we ask questions and we unconsciously expect a certain answer. What is a great sales question in your opinion? And Caroline or Louise or anybody on Facebook? Yeah, that is me. We are live. What is a great sales questions? Everything that we try to talk about in these Thursday meetings, everything is to try to enhance your client base, is to try to have more clients that you really love and work very well with. Get the word out there, spread the joy, and yeah, who knows? Increase revenue. Hallelujah. A great sales question, in your opinion. We all know it's important that we sell. If not, there's nothing going on. It's not business. So Caroline, Louise, or whomever is on Facebook, a great question. You can also unmute and just shout it out loud. You want to buy my services? Why are you so untidy? It looks so messy in your home.
I think one thing I found is quite useful is to just generally chat to people and then ask them where their biggest pain point is in their home. Not to assume that the whole home needs doing, but perhaps ask them where their one area of stress is, if they could change one thing, what it would be. And then that usually leads on to opening up other things that would perhaps be useful.
That's a super question for like halfway through a chat or presentation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Oh, you can say no. You know you can say no. When I say, do you agree? If you don't,
yeah, I agree with you. I just couldn't think of an opening one.
That is why we're talking about it today.
Yeah, so
I love it.
Give you a question.
Like, let's say my desire is to talk to this person about whatever service I'm providing. What is a great opening question for initial discussion topic? Louise?
I don't know. I might ask them what had led them to contact me in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe ask them what the motivation was for getting in touch.
That's super. That's super. And let's say you're talking to someone on the street or in a restaurant or standing in line at the supermarket. How do I knock on the person's door? I just start organizing all the chocolate like randomly. Be like, I'm sorry, I can't help it. I'm a KonMari consultant. These should all be, why are these not verticalized? I mean, haven't they seen the Netflix show on yet? I mean, oh my gosh, come on, folks. It's like the chocolate doesn't, yeah. People will be like, they will run away probably. Very important, think about it. For the type of person I am, what could a great opening line, opening question be for someone that I don't know, for someone that reaches out to me, for someone that got stuck? And it goes for whatever business you're in. Aaron, don't look at me like that. I mean, people can't see, but you're looking at me like, you can look at me in any way you want. And again, what is the #1 sales strategy you apply in your business? Like, ask Lykke that question. She has no idea. Like, she has no idea. That's why we're talking about this today. So what is the #1 sales strategy you apply in your business, Caroline?
Just trying to start conversations with people, generally.
And super likable.
Yeah.
Yeah, having people like me, because if they like me, there's a good chance they'll like what comes with me. But let's think about that too. Luis, do you have like a sales strategy? There's one Thursday where we went through all like the sales strategy.
I was going to say, keep my fingers crossed behind my back.
What? Excuse me, no, I couldn't hear you. Sorry.
Sorry, I said keep my fingers crossed behind my back.
Okay, I love that. So being likable, keeping your fingers crossed behind your back, and just trying to chat to everybody. And if you watch the replay, just please give us a hint about a really good sales strategy. If you use Google, Facebook, Instagram, do you talk to people? Do you do presentations? Do you have your own Facebook group? Do you do videos on YouTube? Do you hand out flyers at the red light in your street? What is your sales strategy #1? Please write it down so we can all learn from each other. Warning, what would you tell a person if you could give them one advice, one, before talking to a potential client? Dun, 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 dun. It's incredible. All of you that are parents, we have like 100,000 advices for our kids. And then when it's like one advice to someone before they talk to their client, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. What would you tell your kids? Let's phrase it like that. What would you tell your kid before they went and, to sell themselves? Maybe they're getting a new job. Maybe they're applying to go to college. Maybe they're picking up someone at the discotheque. One advice.
Try and find out something about them before you speak to them. So find out if they've got a family, or not stalking them, obviously.
I love that. Okay, so get a little spy service and Google. Yeah, of course. That is a great advice. If they know who they're going to go talk to, or they know their audience, great advice. Figure out as much as you can about that person before. Let's say, like Luis said, they contact you and they give you the name or their Facebook account. You can go and see what is important for them, what type of person they are, where they spend their time, and so on. Okay, yeah. Luis, any ideas? And there's nothing, everything is great.
I guess I'd just say be yourself, and then also try and be the best listener that you can. Because if someone's going to share a story or something with them, then just listen.
Yes, storytelling. Great advice. Nice. If we talk to people, like if we tell a story, it's much more possible that they will remember what we said. One thing for me, just stop thinking you know something about the person in front of you. Just stop. And just really try to be clean slate, because we don't. We hardly know ourselves. And sometimes we kind of like, we think we know what's going on and we really don't. Client example, had this amazing client, can't remember if I already said it, but she folded all her concert gowns that were super pretty, super expensive, gold and luxury, and we were really happy. And it was hard work, they're big and huge. And then she was like this. And I was like, uh-oh, what is going? That was not a very joyful expression on her face. And we're talking about, thousands and thousands of euros in a box. And she's like, you know what I want to do now? Like, no, I don't. Please don't. Please stop. We're done. I just want to throw them all out the window. I'm never going to wear them again. Let's all shovel them all down to sentimentals. Like that, in a heartbeat, she changed from I like them, they spark joy to, and I was like, you know, if they had given me like 100 possibilities of what she was going to say, that wouldn't have been on my list. And I've been working with her for a long time, for many hours. So you never know what's going to come next. Good news is, but you will, if you follow a couple of rules. It is possible, of course, to figure out something about them. The 5 golden rules of incrementing your sales. Thank you, Jessica. You're so lovely. Jessica is with us on Twitch, because this is on Twitch and YouTube and Africa TV that I don't even know what is, but it sounds really cool. Incrementing your sales. Rule number 1. Easy peasy. Encounter more people. If you feel you don't have enough clients or you're struggling, the only thing you can do, like the immediate thing you can do, is meet more people. Doesn't matter if it's in person, if it's online, if it's at the supermarket, at the library, wherever you can, encounter, meet, see more people. Make a commitment. How many people do I want to talk to weekly, daily? And if you haven't talked to anybody and it's 9 o'clock in the evening, get on the phone with an old girlfriend and tell her, or with an old boyfriend, whomever, just get on that phone and talk about the KonMari method or your vocal coaching or whatever it is that your service is. Just talk about it. Because rule number 2, talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime, all the time. I literally have people in the private communication course that after they've been doing this, that they're working like 8 hours daily. Caroline, I know you can confirm that. After they've been just talking randomly to people. And it doesn't mean that you attack someone. You simply tell them about the value of whatever product you're selling. In a light, happy, sometimes sad, and sometimes aggressive manner, depending on who you're talking to. Rule number 3, go for it, go for it, go for it. Prioritize you. Remember, what is important for you? Why are you doing what you're doing? Value over fear. Can I create value in that person's life? Well, is that not worth more than your fear about not coming on as you should have, saying something wrong, doing something wrong? There's nothing that is wrong. It's just you just tried it once, it didn't work out 100% like you wanted it to. Well, you learned something and you just move forward. Success over fear. What do I want in a year? How many clients do I want every week? What kind of clients? The only way you can get them is get out there and talk to them. Happiness over fear. Think about how happy you are when you're with your clients or when you're done. Improvement over fear. I'm going to go speak to someone so I can improve my speaking skills, my nonverbal, all the weird stuff that Lykke tells us to do. I'm going to go try it and try it out and see if it works and tell her that it doesn't or tell her that it does. Commitment over fear. Be committed to speak to at least one person every day. New person. Don't call the same person every day. Because what you practice is what you'll do. And it takes practice to talk to people. It's not easy. It's not easy at all because you observe yourself, you're listening to what you're saying, you're trying to figure out who's in front of you. And that's why you want to have small, let's call them sales pitches, just ready, that you've rehearsed and that you know by heart. Because you only lose if you don't talk. If you walk away and you haven't talked about what really makes sense in your life, how you can create value, you lost a possibility. Rule number 4, use the law of averages. And I will remind you again that there are 96 laws in this universe, not only law of attraction. The law of averages is the key to success of every activity in life. It is lawful that if you do the same right thing, the same efficient way over and over again under the same circumstances, it will produce a compound of results that will always keep constant. If I have this super story, like Louise said in the beginning, if I go to the supermarket, to the library, at a restaurant, to a discotheque, to a concert, to an exhibition, and I have a great core story why I am doing what I'm doing, someone is going to listen, and I have to figure out some kind of average, like a statistic that I need to know. How many people do I need to talk to sign a client? I think the percentage is like 2% of people that go through your website or whatever. So if I want one client a week, how many clients do I need to speak to? Caroline, 2%. We're gonna Ellen can leave it up to the mathematicians. Okay, we're gonna do 100. So if I talk to 100 people, I get 2 clients. So we have to we have to get a better result, because I probably can't talk to 100. Can we talk to 100 people in a week? Yeah. If you do presentations, if you do webinars, if you have to talk one-on-one, you have to be like drive around to all the supermarkets and buy one thing in each supermarket. Yeah, Caroline?
Yeah, you can put me on the spot for anything, but not maths.
What about you, Louise? Is math or is it something that you just adore?
No.
Okay. Well, but figure out what your ratio is. My fortune, my luck is that every single client that I've worked with brought me another client. And I hope, I cross my fingers behind my back, because I hope that's gonna stay that way. Because that's amazing. If you can do mouth to mouth, or just somebody that talks to somebody else about you, that is awesome, because it's the best way. They trust you immediately. You don't have to go through the whole process of having people trust you. And if somebody tells someone else, credibility is right there. So you just have to go in, explain, and make your offer. And then, of course, hone your skills. Do something every day to be a better presenter. Do something every day. I don't care about how little, what the tiny little thing you can do. If it's just articulate more for 5 minutes, or putting a pen in your mouth while you're speaking to someone, because Lykke told you that you're going to speak better, because it's going to give you more space. So you're going to have a voice that sounds better. Can you hear the difference? So do something every day to be a better presenter and a more efficient salesperson tomorrow. Know something about sales, statistics, anything. Just decide a time every day, can be different. Leave out Sunday or whatever day you want to rest, and get it done. If you commit to constant and never-ending improvement, you cannot not succeed. Like if you keep on talking to people, if you keep on improving your nonverbal skills, knowing the types, knowing the center, knowing the VAC principles, people will love you. Do you have a massive action plan? Tony Robbins asked 7,000 people in 2012, I think, in Rimini, and everybody was like, yes, we do. And everyone was like, no, we don't. Like eyes low. Yes, of course, Tony, we have a massive action plan. Of course, it's all clear in my mind. I just have to do it. Have a massive action plan for next week, for this week, week after. Where am I going to speak? How am I going to do like a crash course in my Facebook group? And am I just going to send out a short video that explains a little bit about the product that I'm selling? What am I going to do? And do it constantly. And what we're talking about tonight, questions. What do you do when you meet new people? We meet people, at least if you're not still in COVID lockdown, I hope not. How do you start? How do you speak? How do you continue? How do you close a conversation? What's a great way to if you're talking to someone, to get out of there? you have to know this like by heart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a great way that you can leave a person with a question, a poem. Look, are you kidding me? It's like, I can't be like, I'm now gonna recite your poem and then I gotta leave. No, you shouldn't do it like that. You just throw it in there. You talk to someone and they're struggling and they think they're whatever, and you throw in there that Mary Street tells you that, you know, your weirdness is your strength. Those just little tiny phrases that help people and that help us. 5 steps of asking great questions. I could have made it 3. Before, just remember that the most important thing when you meet someone is positive, empathic, engagement relationship. You have to have, let's say, at least 90% of the time in the beginning, they have to want to speak to you. Even if it's an ego male, you can't go in and just be judgmental or tell them what to do. You have to create some kind of positive rapport. How do we do that? We smile, we look people in their eyes and try to focus on them. Really be there. All the people that talk to Tom Cruise, they say that everything just goes away. Like he looks at you like this and you feel that you're the only person in the room. That's how they should feel. When I call him, like, I think I was supposed to call him yesterday, but I'm going to call him Monday instead because I didn't have time yesterday. I'm going to ask him how he does that. What, Karen, do you call him? Like, no.
Not this week, no.
And before we go into the 3 types, let's remember this is just a reminder, because I know you know these by heart by now, and you have your presentations down. The 3 types, first one, kinesthetic or kinesthetic, I have no clue. I still haven't found out in Italian. Soft or hard words and tone. These are some of the words that you can use: grasp, feel, hard and feeling, concrete, straight, solid, touch. I'm going to add like everything that's soft, clouds, whipped cream, soft ice, anything that's, did I just start talking about food? I did not, right? No, I did not. You can read them afterwards. So anything that gives people a sensation of something that you touch. Visual, words that give spectacular visual effects. And people that know me, you know that I hate these because I'm like, I'm going to see them both at the same time. I swear I can do it. And my eyes, they just, which one do you see first, Caroline? The
one facing forward.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Louise, is that the same for you?
It literally flicks back and forth. It doesn't stay static. It just moves every time I blink. The other one appears.
I wonder if you can connect that to type. It's the same thing for me. I'm like,
yeah. It's almost like it's moving on the screen. Bizarre.
And then sometimes it looks like a banana, but not today.
It's a banana.
Come on, it's like a moon shape. Visual, see, look, bright, clear, picture, foggy, illuminated, blah, blah, blah. Take a peek, tunnel vision, bird's eye view, naked eye, paint a picture. Auditory, words with sounds in them, and lots of dynamics. That's why when you do a presentation, you shouldn't do it like this and just be like, today I'm going to talk about something that is very important for me, because if it sounds like this, if you record yourself and it sounds like this, go rehearse. Otherwise, like, I'm going to record myself. Hard to tell, sound, resonate, listen, silence, deaf, squeak, hush, roar. Melody, make music, harmonize, chip, 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 chip. Can you say chip, chip in English? Like the birds outside, what do? Do they chip, chip?
Chip, chip, tweet.
Oh, they tweet. Or they tweet, tweet, tweet. Like when you're done with your festival, it's like, chit, 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 like this. You feel like this. You get it. Just a reminder for the order, kinesthetic, visual, and auditory. Why? Because the kinesthetic people, if you start out as a lot of people on YouTube say you should, do not believe them because it's not true. You get on stage and be like, well, welcome everybody to this presentation. And they tell you stand up like this, and the kinesthetic people, they're like, oh, they get scared. So don't do that. Come on stage, be open, smile, and have a softer voice. I come today to talk to you about something that is very, very important for me. And they're going to be relaxing and be like, okay, we can feel safe with this presenter. And then visual and then auditory. The art of asking questions. The content of the question is important, what you're asking, but how you're asking, what you're asking is just as important. We've been looking at the analogic types, and you have to use certain gestures, certain words with each type, the VAC principles, the problems, we're not going to be talking about them today, if they're realist or idealist, and the dominating center or brain. And this is what I would like to share today. Let's jump in. We all have 3 brains. And I'm not going to say females or males. We all have 3 brains. It's just that some don't use theirs as much. One is dominating. Head brain, intellectual center thinking. This is the brain that our society admires, enhances, trains. We put children on little chairs behind a little table, watching a little screen, and we try to train their head brain. And sometimes, unfortunately, the other 2 brains are a lot less or stimulated, or sometimes we don't even know they're there. Intellectual head brain thinking, main verb, compare. The head brain compares. It says, is this efficient? Is this an advantage for me? Is it not? If I'm looking at a price, like at the, let's say I want to buy a TV and one is like 1,000 and one is 1,200. The head brain is like, which one, how much value do I get for 1,000? How much value do I get for 1,200? So when we're talking about a person that has the intellectual center that is dominating, and it's not as simple, it can be very complicated to figure it out, but these are just like general guidelines. So thinking, pondering, rationalizing, comparing, schematical, and they can be seen, these people can be seen as kind of cold because they're not as emotional as the people that are dominated by their hot brain. Let's call it hot brain, or the emotional center. Feelings, and the main verb is like or dislike. So when Lykke watches that TV, looks at the TV, she doesn't care if one costs 1,200 or 1,000. She just wants it red, and she wants it to look nice and just fit into her furniture. And you know what? If it costs 100, that doesn't matter. And someone that is more intellectually minded is like, yeah, but that's just, that's just insane. Why would you pay 200 just because it's red? The same exact TV over here that is black is $200 off. And I was like, yeah, I don't care. I just want the red one. Does that make sense? Do you recognize any of, no, but nobody does it. Everybody's really like, we go in and we only buy what we really need and what we get value for, of course. So it's either like it or not like it, likes and dislikes. Feeling, likes and dislikes, caught up in emotions. We tend to go like this, and somebody that's intellectual is like, calm down, sit down, think about it, be realistic. Just don't think about it. What? That's very difficult for someone that is emotionally centered. They create, they like art, they act, they sing, and they can be perceived like warm people, but also like a little dangerous, because you never know, you never know when they're like really happy. They can go from really, really happy to really sad in a heartbeat. And the last one, spinal brain, is instinctive moving center, and the verb is moving and sensing. People that use their body is people that teach yoga. There might be bodybuilders, boxers, anybody that does sport like on a high level or live of that could be dominated by the moving center. People that hate doing sport, like don't want to move their body, they're not moving centered. Sensing, doing, moving, instinctive, caught up in desires, like I just need that ice cream and I need it now. My instinctive center is dominating. And it's just, well, just wait until the intellectually centered, just wait until tomorrow. You know you're gonna gain weight if you eat at 10 o'clock, and the instinctive centered is like, don't care about that. I just want it, and I want it now. They can't wait. If they're waiting in line, the people that are like moving back and forward, like looking over his shoulder, and they're like, they hate to wait. If there's a red light and they're moving, center is like, come on. They get even more upset than the emotionally, and the intellectual center is like, yeah, that's what happens when you go out during rush hour. Yeah, I know, but can I, use body language anyway when I go into my car? Do you recognize yourself, Caroline, Louise, more or less? It doesn't mean that you don't have all three characteristics. It just means that one might be, especially if we're tired or if we're stressed under pressure. That's why, watching Big Brother or Game of Thrones, Vikings, all those series, they have those types in them. And when they get under pressure, your center comes out. People that work with casting for series and for movies, they know this. They know how the hero is supposed to look, how the bad guy is supposed to look, and it's all like in our brain somehow, because instinctively we know this. If you look at these guys, what is your opinion like? What is your idea? When we see someone, we immediately react, and mostly we're up here in our brain. It's very difficult to look at someone with your heart brain, and really it happens when people, have you seen we talked about it last time, the people that sit down in front of each other and they made experiments and they just look at each other, and slowly they loosen up, and sometimes they even start to cry. Because in the beginning you look at people with your head brain and kind of your instinctive brain, because you decide the 5 F. And I'm going to do a beep. I'm going to learn how to do it. So it's, when we meet someone, if it's a friend, if it's a foe, if it's a foe, if it's forgettable, or finance. I added the last of finance for a client. Does that sound, how does that sound? Yeah, sounds kind of right. When we see one, so it's like foe, friend, or forgettable, or finance. And from now on, everybody, of course, is finance. Everybody is a potential client. Caroline, do you have any idea? What does he do for work?
Possibly teacher. He looks very personable, approachable, friendly, bit smart, well, very smart, bit too smart for a teacher.
Okay, is he a bodybuilder?
No.
Is he like a surfer or a dancer?
Well,
Like,
he
could
might
be
be. He might be hiding under that suit somewhere, but in that get-up, not.
And Louise, there's the guy in the green t-shirt.
I've got him down as a photographer.
Okay.
I don't know why. He's a bit muscly. He's a bit fit for a photographer, but I still think he's out taking photos of the wilderness somewhere.
Okay. Yes. Is he a science professor?
No. He could be a biologist. Kind of.
Yes, he could.
Yeah.
If you saw him in a movie, would he be cast as like, as a scientist or someone that works in a laboratory?
No, he's not an indoor person. He's definitely living a life of adventure somewhere.
This guy over here, tricky.
A James Dean wannabe.
He's a bit cool, isn't he? Yeah.
You're so mean. You're a little James Dean wannabe. Like, what does he do? Like, what is his job? Let's just fantasize. What does he do?
He works in a bar.
He works in a bar. Yes.
Or he's a musician, maybe.
He works in a bar for me.
Plays the guitar, maybe. But he's a bartender. Or owner, maybe a bar owner.
Yes.
Or an actor.
Yeah.
Yes, an actor. So great. We're already getting there somehow, that instinctively he's probably, it doesn't have to be, but if I put in words with moving and doing and getting things done and those kinds of work, he's probably going to like it more than if I'm like putting in words with rationalizing and comparing and being very schematical that I could use with this guy. Doesn't mean that it will work, but the probability is higher. If I talk to him about whatever product I'm selling, I don't want to be like, so these are the 6 rules of the method. And he's going to be like, what? There are no rules. I make the rules. And this guy over here is like, oh, is there a statistic for why they made those rules? Or what, it's really generalizing, but you get the picture. And this guy down here, what does he do in his free time? And thank you for joining on Facebook. If you have questions, you can dot them in the chat because I'm on it.
In his free time, it looks like he walks next to rivers. He probably goes to classical concerts.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Theatre and concert.
Does he go to classical concerts?
He could do, maybe.
Is it more possible that he goes than he goes?
Yeah, definitely. Very, very stereotyping, aren't we? And he probably reads.
I have to pay this guy also. What, please?
I don't see the guy in the green t-shirt. I don't see him as enjoying music at all. I don't see him as a rock person either.
He plays music, like because if you
he's basically banging a tree trunk, making his own music.
That's with the moving center. They want to take part in whatever is going on. They don't want to watch. They don't want to, sit down and rationalize and figure it. They want to do it.
Yeah, he's made a fluke somewhere.
Yeah. And we talked about this. If my teacher, he would say, if you go to IKEA or one of like do it yourself and you get whatever it is that you get, the intellectually centered, they're going to sit down and read the thing and then they're going to start, because if you don't read it, something is going to be messed up and we want to do it the right way. Whereas the visual, they're gonna have someone either they're going to read it or they're going to have someone read it for them, and then they're going to do it. And the moving centered and the kinesthetic, they're just going to do it. No, that's because I can do this. You know, they just put all the pieces out there, and then it's probably, and you know, that's when it happens. It could happen. People hardly ever argue about building IKEA complements, or have you ever known anybody that could argue about getting something assembled in the home? Personally, no. No. We could, you know, if you have two different types, they could not agree on what is the best way to get that done, which is it's totally natural, because it's just three completely different ways of looking at the same thing. And they have a really hard time understanding each other. So let's go over to the females. What is your opinion? Help that out. She's definitely a singer or a painter or a blogger, influencer. I don't think she goes to classical concerts. She might, but I don't think so. What about her? Or Caroline, whichever you want to choose.
This, I would say, bottom right, she perhaps works with people, helping people. Like in a, I don't know, with old people or at a kindergarten, or yeah, that sort of thing.
I totally agree. What let's just put them there. What do you think, what center?
I would think perhaps either the heart brain or the spinal brain. Maybe, yeah, but probably the heart brain.
The interesting thing is also that we're just scratching literally the surface, that if then you are moving centered, you can be either intellectually, emotionally, or moving centered. So she could also, you know, be someone that is moving centered, because for me, she seems like someone that likes to move, but intellectually. Does that make sense? Yeah, not really. Okay, Louise? If you were to have drinks with one of these, who would it be?
Probably the one in the red and black shirt.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Same for you, Carolyn?
Yeah.
That's
she seems more approachable than the others.
Yeah. Or top left.
Yeah.
Top left?
Top right, not. She looks like she just want to talk about herself.
Yeah. I also don't think wouldn't have anything to talk to her about. That'd be tricky. I think bottom left might be easy too. I think she'd be okay.
Yeah, she looks friendly.
Job is, yeah. Please, what do you think her job is? Just gut feeling.
I'd say she's a business owner. She runs her own business.
Could she be like a psychologist to you?
Oh yeah, she could be a counselor. Or, yeah, something like that.
I think I would like that
person.
And that's when we're talking in the beginning about not just stop thinking that you know something is really difficult. It's really difficult because, and where I want to go with this is that they might look like this and they might have that career, but with the job that we have, we also know that a lot of people are not living their ideal lifestyle. So this might not be who they really want to be, or who they were, or who they will be. So just clean slate, open questions, and it is an exercise. Easiest way to have an idea about the dominating center. Thank you for COVID. If you have to take advantage of COVID, which has been a total, yes, I live in Italy, so ask them how they spent their time during lockdown or quarantine. Let's put this up just to know this is just one way, and these are stereotypes. So everything that I say, don't take it for the truth. Take it as something that you can go and just try out for yourselves. And if you figure out there's not true or there's something to add, let me know. what did the intellectually centered people do? Or what will they say? If you ask, oh, so how was lockdown? What did you do? How long were you in lockdown? Oh, it was okay. You know, of course it wasn't okay, but it was okay for them. And then, of course, it depends on whether you lost someone close to you or not close to you and all that stuff. I got some reading done. I got some writing done. It was actually nice to stay at home for a couple of weeks, you know, just being with you, having time. I got organized and I thought and I compared, and they were quite calm about it. It's not a huge problem. Emotional centered. We got on the roof and we sang our lungs out. I guess you all saw the videos from Italy. I was up on the roof too, singing Bella Ciao and what have we. They did Zoom collecting meetings, made petitions for this. They made self-help groups, wrote on Facebook. They cried, laughed, ate, felt liked and disliked. Emotional people, they have to connect with other people. They do not strive or feel good if they don't connect to other people. It's not, I don't know if it's okay to say, like, they actually kind of like to feel sad. Why would there be all those sad songs in the world or sad movies? Like, we pay $10 to go and cry at the movies. What's wrong with it? Like, literally, this is a real question. What is wrong with it? We sit down and I hear my little sad song. It makes me sad and I cry. Why? Good question. Instinctive center. For these people, lockdown was hard. Lockdown is hard. So if you know someone like this that loves to move, walk in the woods, work out, do yoga, just play, just like the guy in the green shirt, he doesn't want to listen to music. He wants to play music. Doesn't matter if he's good at playing as long as he can. What did you say, Louise? Drum on a tree, stuff or something.
Yeah.
Reach out to them and see if they're okay. The types that survive, you know, they cooked, bake, invent, worked out, they organized the whole house, they repainted, went a little crazy. Like they had, oh, I can finally do the recipe of Gordon Ramsay, and I bought all the ingredients, and now I'm just going to experiment. And there's never been so many pictures of pizzas and focaccia and stuff on Facebook. Or this girl, she wants finally to do the project that she's been wanting to paint for ages. If there was a birthday in the family, well, it doesn't matter if we're lockdown, it's going to be a huge, great party for the two of us, but we're going to do it. We're just going to do it. No way. Whereas like maybe the intellectually centered will be, well, we're just going to do it when it's over. It's no problem. Like the movie says, it's like, no, you gotta celebrate your birthday. And we're going to have the emotionally centered come over and sing. And it's just with sensing they want it done. It's either done or not done. And our job is to see the world as your client sees it before we can help them see a new world. And now we're going to finally get into it. The 5 steps in the art of asking great questions, because we already know by now, if I read a book or see these things that I like, ask these questions, I have to ask myself, how could I even remotely think that the same question works well with every type? It does not. But the first step is to present the product. What is your service? What are you selling? What is your product? This is just my examples. You present it. So do you know why my clients choose to tidy with me following the KonMari method? Do you know the KonMari method? Do you know why my clients increase their revenue and client base taking my lessons in body language and conscious communication? Do you know why my clients find their ideal voice to become great speakers with no time with the voice evolution system? And these are my key 3 areas that I work in. Let's just do the KonMari tidying. So first step, ask an open question about our product. Have you ever given any thought to why tidying is the new therapy? Have you heard that tidying is the new therapy? Have you seen the new show about the KonMari method that talks about how to tidy all your belongings in one go? So thought, of course, is with the person that I think is thinking centered, intellectually centered. Have you heard emotional centered? And as if you can get the back principles in there also, of course, that's amazing. And have you seen the new show? Have you ever done it? If you were to reformulate or ask a question, Caroline, for your business, can be either KonMari or your teaching business, what would you, let's say that there is someone not speak, I'm not very good speaking English, but I am studying. What would you say?
Have you given any thought as to why it's really important for children to realize from an early age that there are other languages in the world?
What?
Other languages. So that not everyone speaks the same language as they do. That people communicate in different ways.
Yeah, no.
There you go. Now you have.
I'm sorry, it's just, see me, I think everybody is like, it thinks like I do, but that's what I teach, so they do not. Let's say you meet someone, you teach English, right, and music?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so let's say you meet someone, they are trying, I'm trying to learn or to study English, but very difficult. What would you talk about other languages?
Well, the problem is I teach children, very, very small children in English. So the way I try to sell it is to
Okay.
tell their parents that it's important that they start to realize that there are other languages around, even if they don't understand what we're doing to start with.
Okay, but as an objection, as a first question, it's a heavy question, right? It's a little heavy. Luis, did you get the question? Of course, Lykke.
Get the question. So maybe that's because I'm a thinker.
Okay, just like a little, how long have you been studying? And then maybe go to the kids.
Yeah.
Let them do the course with the kids if they speak on the same level. All this.
Maybe it would be, how do you feel about your child speaking a language that you don't speak? Or if you're teaching children.
But we don't know if they do. We don't even know if he has kids, right?
Oh, well, I was thinking in Caroline's point, because she only teaches children.
Yes.
Right, Caroline. Do we know if he has kids? No, we didn't.
No, I guess not. No, I was just assuming.
No, I can't have kids, so I don't even want to think about that.
If he doesn't have children, she doesn't need to speak to him.
Super open questions and do not assume anything, which goes for Lykke Anholm too. Rewind.
At which point you say, you have no children, I'm not interested in talking to you.
First question will be, do you have children? No.
Do you know any children? I'm only going to speak about.
You've got less than 5, we're not interested.
What could be suggested, Caroline, is that, it sounds like you're really doing a good job. I can understand everything you're saying. Oh, I happen to be a teacher. If you ever need any material, I would be happy to give you some. And it's like, do you have all the non-regular verbs? You're like, yeah, but they're a little funny because I teach kids. Do you? My kids, whatever. I don't know, just make it fun and light. And let's try it again. Let's do another example. Let's read this. This is like your question. Have you ever given thought to why the KonMari? No, you read it, Caroline, with your English perfect accent.
Have you ever given thought to why the KonMari method is considered a revolutionary tool by a large number of experts and has been a game changer for hundreds of thousands of people all over the world that now feel happier and more accomplished in life because they have finally managed to tidy their home and their office completely?
It's like a dinner, you know, if you're standing in line at the supermarket, you can totally drop this. Or okay, so maybe we should like consider
downsize
all the types. We should discard a little from this sentence. So use it.
Do you know who KonMari is?
Moving centered. Have you given thought? Intellectually centered, game changer, moving center. Whatever you can get in, games, rules, play, whatever you can get in there works. All over the world, visual also. Feel happier, emotionally centered. They always want to feel happier, but they will never give up their suffering. And more accomplished, rational. I want to feel accomplished. I want to feel good. And completely. Oh, and now what would you? Second step, illustrate why your product is amazing. What do you do? Can I tell you? Can I show you? Life is a game, right? Would you let me share like the results, how it looks after a perfect tidying game? Like when you have been like juggling, jumping around between clothes and books and papers, it's a mess. Would you agree that it's important if you have someone in front of you that's intellectually centered? You will say that Marie has been in Forbes nominated, you know, between the 100 most influential people in the world. Someone like me, I don't care. I don't really care about that. But if you tell me that she's changed thousands of people's emotional life, that they're happier, I do care for that. If I have to move everything around and sweat, read my books down, no, you're not going to get me on that one. Let's see what I got it down here. These are all the reasons, and I invite you to find some of your own based on what clients you work with. If you're a performer, if you're a vocal coach, sit down and whenever someone calls me, it's like, do you know why people go to have singing lessons? Do you know why parents send their kids to English lessons? It's because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you ask, which one is important for you? Why are you calling me? Is it, let's go back. Is it because you want to get rid of stuff that wasn't yours in the first place? You can choose, you shouldn't name 12 reasons. Have like the 5 reasons that are important for you when you work with your clients. Who called you? Lisa, No, I'm not really sure how I want and what I want to ask her. You can probably tell. So have your questions ready always. Louise, how long have you been in the tidying business?
3 months.
3 months?
I did the July course, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. So your typical client is not typical yet. Am I right?
Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
The clients that you did have, could you name like a reason, the main reason why they called you?
I've got, yes, I have my two practice clients, and I have another one that's booked in. So the first one, the less clutter and free space, maybe. She'd never tried it, never considered it, but just knew she had too much stuff and needed to get rid. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So 4 or 5 reasons why clients want to tidy, or why they want to have lessons, why they want to be taught. You name them. Third step is this, which one of these are important for you? And you can, if you know a little about the center, you use these things. Which one speaks most to you? Auditive, auditory. Does any of these ring a bell? Do any of these ring a bell? Did any of these hit you as something that could be true for you? Have you ever thought about these things? Maybe they haven't. And if they're not ready, if it's someone that we don't know, or we can see they're kind of like not interested, for me, it was, and then you have your super core story ready. And you've told it 100 times, so you know you're going to get them because you put all the elements in there. And so far, I haven't encountered one trainee that does not have an amazing core story. So it's just a matter of sitting down and writing it. Or for my latest client, it was, if you wanted to be even more distant, like non-personal. And what would be your number one priority? Because really, you're finding out if your client wants to gain pleasure or avoid pain, and their primary motivation for doing a tied-in festival and working with you. Let's say, let's go back and be like, oh gosh, no, I have a closet full of dresses that I haven't worn. Some have tags on them still. And I know and my husband gets upset, or the other way around. I have books that I haven't read, have tons, whatever they're going to say, you know is true because you've been through the whole thing and they can choose. And then you go from there. Follow-up question, why is that essential to this person? So why did you pick that one? What sounds true? What feels right for you? Let's say, what could they have answered? Caroline, what is an answer that you got? Maybe a real life example.
I have had a client where it was very much a case of needing to get rid of things that were there that didn't belong to them. The whole space was very much full of things that weren't theirs. So I would probably have led her through those points before, realized that that was the one, and then said, what were your thoughts when you picked that answer? Because it was quite clear there were a lot of emotions attached to the feeling of having all this stuff in the house. So how is it making her think? How is it making her feel?
Yes. And maybe she's going to say, you know, it makes me feel like I can't be myself. I don't know what to do. I come home and I want to relax and I just see all this stuff. And you observe all, you know, she's going to do this or she's going to do this or this. And then you go in and you're like, okay, wake up call. So what will happen if you don't do it? What will happen if you continue like this? It's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. It's not going to get any better, that's for sure. And if they have a lot of stuff, you know, it's difficult to clean, it's difficult to be yourself. What is going to happen if you don't do it? And what would you gain by doing it? If you let's envision, let's imagine that you got it all done and everything is in order. How would you feel? What would you think? What would you be able to do according to the center? Because that way it's a kind of a confrontation. And then of course you have your presentation ready and you tell them that they could be your client, that you would love to work with them. What would it look like? How can we make it go away? This is how the method works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's do it. And they might right there be like, but let's say statistically, maybe I have like, let's say I have 30 students and I want to have more people that do the exam, that do the diploma as a student of singing and want to be better. When they call me, I'm going to be like, this is how it works. What do you want? This is why they come. and get singing lessons or get typing lessons? Which one is your priority? I just want to be happy and I want to sing a little bit on my choir. Okay, call someone else. I'm going to do that. But so we're also very clear on what do I like to work with? I've been thinking a lot about the ideal client and everything, and how difficult it is to figure out what your ideal client is. Because I've been thinking in terms of age and home and kids, no kids, female, male. Whereas I think if we start thinking in what are their goals and what do I like to do? Am I a rational person? Do I make systems? Do I buy stuff for them where they put stuff in? Am I an emotional person? Do I want to do the whole emotional journey? Or do I want to get it done? Who am I? And what can I give them? That might give us a better idea. Louise, you weren't here last time, but we talked about that is the client that I thought were my ideal client, and that goes for my business as a vocal coach and my typing business, wasn't my ideal client. It turned out not to be my ideal client. It was very different from what I thought. Because you have to work with them. You have to work with a lot of clients before, But this, what do you think, Caroline? It could be a solution.
Yeah, and I also think I've been starting to mull over the fact that if I had originally thought I predominantly would work with people with families, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they have the sort of personality that would work well with you just because they happen to have a family. And actually one of my clients was a single woman, and it worked brilliantly. It was super. So that just proved to me that I don't have to just limit myself to working with people with families.
So what I would love for you to do is observe if the clients you work really well with have the same center as you do. Because we know in the analogical type, you should be opposites. I mean, you work better if you're an ego female. Ego males will probably call you more, and you work better, like instinctively. Then you can modify and try to adhere to the personality they have. But as a center, if you observe that they're the same center or different from yours, I would love to make a statistic on that and see how it works. And the people that we like and dislike, are they the same? Are they different? And with that said, go ask some great questions to everybody you